For over 20 years, bringing you extraordinary entertainment. This is Extraordinary Entertainment. This is the Extraordinary Network. Live from Atlanta, Georgia, with your hosts, Chris, Rachàd, Jeremy, Summer, and Najee. This is Extraordinary Unplugged.
Good.
Welcome to another edition of Extraordinary Unplugged. I'm Chris.
I'm Summer Kai.
I'm Jeremy. Tamika Scott.
Jamaica Scott.
I normally don't do this I'm doing this on a different platform and this looks crazy.
What are you on?
And you and
I'm
your
on my phone instead of my tablet.
I
right.
think
That's what I was saying. I'm on my phone today, so it's different for me.
because I was about to say I think Summer's on her phone too.
Yeah, I'm on my phone today.
Yes.
We on my laptop.
How is everybody doing?
Wonderful.
It's a
Awesome.
there you go. So, mm-hmm.
So while we're getting everybody in, make sure that for those of you that are watching on YouTube and also Facebook, make sure that you go ahead and hit that like button on YouTube. Also, to hit that like button on Facebook. Also, to make sure that you share this live. Get in. We're gonna take up from where we were trying to go last week and bring last week's show to this week. So everybody get in. Let's tune in. We have a great show for you guys tonight and some great topics that we were going to share with you guys last week. So let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, I want to make sure what's been going on with my co-hosts. What's been going on with you guys week? How y'all been? I know we were absent last week, so kind of know what's been going on.
Well, the summer is kicking off, so like the summer is here and it's upon us. One thing I love about the world and life, it just keep on moving. It don't matter what's going on. Like the sun gonna come up, the moon gonna rise in whatever form she dressed in that day, and the world just keep moving. So it's just a constant reminder that you should too. So
Exactly.
not that you have a choice. Well, you do have a choice, but baby, the sun gonna keep going. So you should too.
Hey, I like that. I like that because the world don't stop for nobody.
It's really not. And in
I
the
like.
fashion of that, save yourself. Hurry up and save yourself because nobody's coming.
Hey, exactly. I wanted to share with you guys. I know I had went down to, the other weekend ago we had the Jazz Fest down at Piedmont Park, so that was fun. Got a chance to go out to that, and then this past weekend they had another festival down at Piedmont Park. I'm not sure what was going on, but it was really dope. There was a lot of different vendors there and things of that nature, so it was really dope. Not sure if you guys got a chance to get out to any of those festivities or whatnot.
I would have.
No,
It was
but
going
I,
on.
I was planning on going this Sunday, depending on the weather. They have I think a vibes festival, something like that. My friends then talked me into going to that.
What's it called?
Hmm.
Like vibes. I think it was like some
Oh,
kind of body
Vibes, the club.
positivity.
Hey,
It's
Rachel.
like a yeah, body positivity. It's like about
What on Rachel?
swimwear. So
Okay.
hey Rachel, like swimwear, like people trying to like sell their swimwear and stuff.
Oh, okay. Like a fashion show.
I think it's more like a pop up shop.
That's
Oh,
good. That's
okay.
good.
I know what you're talking.
And where that's going? And where does that happening at?
Pima.
Okay.
I might pop out because I want to do something.
I
Yeah,
think
I
I'm
might just.
going this Sunday.
I might
My
come out
cousin
too.
is visiting from LA, so we're either gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out together some kind of way.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think we should all try to make that a thing because I think I want to go back out again. I enjoy being at the park, especially during this time of the year, and
It's nice
you
and
know,
pretty.
yeah, especially when the weather's nice. So I enjoy going down and just really getting fresh air and and seeing all the people that's down there. I know a lot of people was playing kickball down there when I went on this past Saturday. So it was really really dope. It was a vibe, and then also too it was a nice breeze out too on Saturday. So it was really really nice outside, unlike it is today in the 90s. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump on into our topics for this evening. But again, for all
On it.
tuning in, make sure that you hit that like button, and also for those that are tuning in for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Um, and also make sure that you share, continue to share. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into our topics for this evening. Summer, you want to do the honors since Rachàd is not here with us?
It's not in front of me.
Oop, let me see if I can do it. Hold on. Let me try to see it. Let me see. Because
I have off and on to look
I
at.
got like three screens. Hold on. I'm finna jump into it. Yeah. Hold on. So we're gonna touch on a little bit of the update for the Diddy trial. We got some drama going on. If everybody's heard, I'm pretty sure they have the drama with Clarissa, Remy Ma, and Papoose. Oh, I'm saying that person's name right.
Papoose.
Papoose, which
Mhm.
is a very interesting name. Um, we got some stuff going on with Salt-N-Pepa filing a lawsuit against UMG over music rights dispute. And
Mhm.
we also have the Georgia woman being kept alive while brain dead to incubate her baby. And then we also have an open topic, so anything is on the table for discussion or whatnot. So that's what we got going on today. That's what we got going on. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this Diddy situation, this ongoing trial that's been going on. Um, so let's go ahead and jump into that. Trying to see if there's any new sources because since I had all the stuff ready for last week that I was going to mention about this trial, I'm going to say this: there are talks that Trump said that he will, if Diddy is convicted, he will get him off.
Well,
Um,
I heard him say nobody asked. No one has asked him yet.
no one has asked him. Oh, okay, so so his tune is changing.
No, I'm saying that's what I heard. I heard on the video that I should have just downloaded the video so we could have played it. But
Hmm.
in the video, an interviewer asked him, "Would he pardon Diddy?" And he said, "Well, no one has asked me to."
Mm,
So,
He's
um,
also the weird thing is he's also not been convicted of anything yet. So we
right,
putting the cart before the horse. But
realistically, but I think they were just trying to start some junk because of the recent pardons to like the Chrisleys and
young, what's that? Young MB. What's that doing? You know all these new rappers. Okay.
I can't remember the other young guy that he just pardoned too. But yeah, so like that is a dumb question right now to know. We don't even know what he's gonna be convicted for, if he's gonna get convicted, or if they're even going to just dismiss the shit. We don't even know what's happening. So
Right.
it was a little bit early for that question.
And see, but that's my thing too. Is even with that, I, I feel like if you're gonna do that, you might as well just go ahead and get R. Kelly out too. If you're gonna be doing all that, I mean, that's just how I feel at this point. I feel like if you're gonna go down that road, you might as well go ahead and get R. Kelly out. You might as well go ahead and get some of these other sex offenders out. Like what was the other lady name that was with that hot that high stake trial that Trump his name is all over. what is that trial? I can't think of the person's name.
A hostage?
No, it was another sex trafficking situation.
Mhm.
I can't think of the man's name, but he ended up killing himself. That's what they say, quote unquote. But he ended up killing himself in the prison. Can't think of his name though.
Oh man.
I
Mm.
can't think of his name. It's a white guy too. Can't think of his name. But anyway, might as well let out the female that was convicted. Might as well let her out too.
Well, it has to make sense to him. Like, I don't think he just randomly letting people out of jail. I think he has, probably a sidebar. So you're going to give this or do this or whatever the case. I don't think Trump is the type of person who, just feels it in his heart to pardon people. I think it is definitely beneficial to him in one way or another because that's how he operates.
I'm
Right.
thinking he is down to do anything to help anybody who has capitulated to him.
That's,
Like,
yeah.
Well, so there's a trial update that I believe that was today. LA hotel security supervisor and former CFO for Combs record label testified. So he testified today. Um, So prosecutors began today by calling Eddie Garcia to the witness stand. Garcia worked as a security supervisor at the Los Angeles hotel where Combs was filmed attacking his then girlfriend, Cassie. In March 2016, Garcia said she received $100,000 for himself and two other employees for helping Combs keep the video under wraps. Um, Derek Ferguson, the former chief financial officer of Combs Enterprises, also testified about his time working for the mogul from 1998 to 2017. Prosecutors showed financial records from a Combs bank account, including a $20,000 wire transfer from Ventura's father December 23rd, 2011. Ventura's mother previously testified that Combs demanded the family pay $20,000 to keep him from releasing sexually explicit videos of Ventura. And that's just a little bit of what happened today. There's another one here. Combs faces five, of course, everybody knows he faces five criminal counts, one count of racketeering, conspiracy, two counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, of corrosion, and two counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has has definitely denied the allegations against him. Yeah, so that's pretty much what happened today. Um,
I just I looked up the definition of racketeering, and I think that's a plausible like I think that's very plausible for this case. Um, it's not looking good because as I say every week, Ernestine ain't lying on you. Like, I mean, everybody ain't lying on you. My mama say that all the time. Like, it's so many people saying the same thing about you. There has to be some kind of merit to it.
I totally agree, and that's what made me want to stand and ask the question to you both. Do you guys feel that now that I think we what almost a month into this trial now, if I'm not mistaken? Do you guys feel that he's gonna possibly get off, or he's going to be convicted? Kind of like in the early stages of where we are right now. Do you guys kind of foresee something? Because my understanding, the feds, they feel strong that they have a case. They feel strongly that they do. So that's the reason why I definitely want to get you guys' opinion on what do you guys think on this.
Well, I'm going to say
I
first off, if the feds brought it to this point, kicking in doors and whatnot, they had to really believe that they had enough evidence to win because that's not if they don't have enough evidence that he gets off based on lack of evidence, that's gonna negatively affect that department, and they never want that kind of negative attention. So I do think that they do believe that they have enough witnesses and testimonies that will support. And just like Kid Cudi testified about his car getting blown up,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a witness, but apparently they're trying to say that Cassie um, and another lady assisted, like Puffy himself wasn't present, and they couldn't directly say that he did it. He just made like threats or whatever, and it was like basically hearsay saying that he was coming after him. Um, and then Dawn Richards did her testimony about what she had witnessed, and she just they felt like she should have been dropping more names, giving it what is whatever. And then I heard somebody interview Cat Williams also. So there's a lot of information that's going back and forth, which means that there may be some charges that actually stick, in my opinion. But to get everything the way that they're setting it up, I don't know that that will happen because he does have a really strong defense lawyer. They throwing what do you call it? They throwing wet tissue at a wall hoping it sticks. You know, um basically that's how they're approaching it because they obviously want him to win. You know, they making good money to see to that. So they're discrediting they're trying to, should I say, discredit some witnesses about wishy-washy testimonies, and especially with the RICO charge and everybody saying, "Oh, how can only one person be, um, be in charge with the RICO when it's usually more than one person because it's going to take, uh, you know, whoever he was doing that with. There aren't any other names that are being mentioned right now, um,
Right.
so we don't know. I'm thinking I don't know if the RICO part will stick, but the sexual assault, the domestic violence, all of those things, I do think that um the jury will probably see through that because there's so many witness accounts saying that they witnessed that or seen
Hmm.
do violent things. I think they interviewed Jaguar Wright too.
I believe they did. I believe they did.
But yeah, all those
You
people
know
that
she
they
gonna
had
tell it.
slap a bit, honey. So I think some charges will stick. I'm just the only one charge that I'm really they're gonna try to minimize whatever he does get charged with, but the only charge that I don't know that will exactly stick is the RICO charge in my opinion. I haven't seen them, give a strong enough account toward witnessing that for me to know right at this point whether that's gonna stick or not.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
I think that they're gonna get some juice out of this squeeze. Like whether if one don't stick, the other one is going to stick. I just wonder, like, why now? Because this has been being said for years. There's been enough evidence for years. There's been enough people for years. Why now? What is happening, and what is different in the air? And then I just have to say, if you think he was a monster before, if Trump pardons him, I think that will give him the license to be even more villainous, and that's frightening.
It is, but 50 Cent recently came out and said that if Trump pardoned him, he would fight tooth and nail to try to stop it. I was like, how are you going to stop a presidential pardon? But okay.
Because he got money.
Well, that is true. But it's the president, though. Like, how you stop a presidential pardon?
Because he got money.
Well, I think Trump, like with the thing that happened with the I forget the gentleman that he gave him like a partial pardon of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like he was pardoned all the
Or you talk about the
way.
mayor of New York.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
like he had a pardon, but it did not extend to anything that was functional. So he still was like serving prison in jail. So I think that we could see a lot of incompetency. We could see a lot of random things happen. So I hate to say this, but this man hurt people,
Yeah.
Right.
allegedly. So seeing that is being taken in such a cavalier fashion is frightening to me.
Right, because the outrage was in the beginning, and now things are kind of simmered down a little bit. And it's like, are we have we become numb to certain things? You know, when it comes down to uh, pertaining towards women or anything like that, have we become numb to that as a society? Because it seems like we just normalize everything. I mean, look, prime example, we got a felon in the White House who is a sexual abuser. So I'm just like, you know, where have we come to as a society?
Yeah.
Well, just like when you look on the internet and there could be a video of, just like, let's just use the Cassie video for example, since that's on topic.
Right.
You have so many people in the comments saying, "Oh well, that ain't real. Like she must have liked it because she stayed for 10 years, or whatever the case may be." Um, and I really think it's so ignorant of people to assume that they know how it feels to be in a domestic abuse relationship,
Right.
especially with a person of power, influence, and financial success. Okay, a very wealthy person who has a lot of connections, who can stop you from getting jobs, who can put the real natural fear of God in you, because you never know when, they have the power to do something harmful to you, and you don't know when it's coming. They can
I
find you wherever you go.
I
You
think that also the like what Kid Cudi, like his role that he played in this, like him exposing Cassie as somebody who was playing both of them to the middle. I think that there's two things that are happening here. Kid Cudi is very well known to just tell the truth, even if it's like incriminating or makes him look crazy.
hmm
He's comfortable just telling the truth. So I do think that Cassie, again, I've been saying this as the trial has been rolling out. Two things can be true
true.
at one time. Cassie used Diddy to get what she wanted out of life, and look at what she paid for it. And her actions do not justify the wrong actions of Diddy either. And sometimes, your mama tell you don't go out with those people because those people don't mean you no good. Sometimes they don't mean you no good.
Hmm.
And sometimes bad things do happen when you are doing something you shouldn't be doing. And I hate that that was her experience. Life has a way of showing us exactly exactly who we don't want to be. And
Exactly.
and I think she's figured that out now. Well, one can hope. I don't know that lady.
I mean, she was very young when this all started. Not to use
Yeah.
necessarily as an excuse, but a lot of us when we're young, we're a little more naive to situations. Also, I look at this just like I looked at the R. Kelly case. There's a lot of parents who just leave their young adult or young teenage child with a superstar just because it's a superstar, and he's paying them, you know. Oh well, she's taken care of. Blah blah blah. Here's $1 billion or whatever. However, not a billion, but like giving them money consistently, which is improving their life, and it's easier to turn a blind eye to what somebody is doing. I don't think that Cassie is blameless. She obviously, when she realized that this was not a healthy situation, chose to still partake in it because there were things that she liked, like taking the drugs. She actually enjoyed taking drugs with him. I don't believe in any way that she was forced to take drugs.
She obviously enjoyed the sex too.
Well, that was my second part. Because when you're on drugs, certain drugs, you know how they say if you take ecstasy or whatever, it makes the sex better or whatever. So I do believe it allowed her to open up to explore her sexuality in another way. And then you're doing this with this super famous, well off, um, and it's getting you in the spotlight as his woman. Like there's a lot of things that come with that make you decide I'm gonna put up with this a little longer, or it's not that bad. And I feel like that she should have to account for. But I feel like once she got her ass drugged and beat, she kind of paid a cost for her decisions. We don't have no room to try to criminalize her for
Right.
wanting to advance her career with somebody who is actually capable of doing so. Like if I'm gonna get my ass beat, at least you better pop my career. Like I get that, but that shows you where her self esteem was at. Cause baby, I don't give a fuck. Hit me and I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like
that's the thing
All
that
of that, you got to remember that any deal you make with the devil is never gonna turn out the way you think it is.
yeah,
So you went through all of that, you did all of that, and look at your career.
it's the
You
same.
had two singles, and that's two really notable singles, and two and a half if you count Official Girl with Lil Wayne. And it's like, was it worth it?
I mean,
Could
it
you
wasn't
have
the
made a bigger impact doing something else? And I have something else to say, and this is my opinion. I don't think she's especially talented. I think a lot of times we confuse beauty with talent, and it's just like, yeah, she's a beautiful girl, but
she's marketable.
like, she should have been a model. She should have, been a video vixen, but a singer, no.
I look at it like this too, and going into what you're saying too, Jeremy. I'm looking at it as in the aspect that she was. You remember? Y'all remember that movie that Tyler Perry did, Medea's Family Reunion, and they had the character, the female that was stuck in this volatile marriage
Yes,
with the crazy husband,
Christina, Christina.
Hmm.
and I feel like that's what this situation was, because there were several times that she tried to run away and they came and found her and brought her back. And the thing is that she tried to leave several times. She did. She tried to leave several
Back
times.
several times without being coerced to come back. See,
Hmm.
like when she had got away from him at one point for a good while, um,
Hmm.
I believe that she was just accustomed to a lifestyle that she wasn't ready to let go of. That's a
Right.
real thing. Like, like to be like, damn, now I miss these parties I could go to. I don't have to pay for all the drugs I was getting. I could screw who I wanted to screw. I got to hang out with all the A celebrities and whatever. Like
Hmm.
I just feel like everybody has a role to play in your abuse, even if the most crime you committed was not leaving when you knew you should leave. That's still something to take accountability for. I don't think she's blameless. I just think that she was young, and I do think that he was conditioning the people who he was bringing around him to participate in things that would, you know, um, in their mind, they thought it was going to benefit them somehow, some way. And I think she
Hmm.
just continued to believe that she would receive this big lifestyle that she could have her own name behind. And,
Right.
you know, it didn't happen. Hey,
What's
Steve.
going on, Stevie?
So,
What's going
Hey,
on?
Stevie.
And I agree with you on that too, Summer. Because when you look at, okay, there was some instances that she wanted to run away, but there were some instances that she wanted to stay. So it was like, you're in a conflicted situation where, okay, I want to be here one day I don't want to be here. And, you're looking at it from those two aspects, and it seemed like a deranged person, because you're like, okay, you enjoying the abuse, but in a minute, you don't enjoy the abuse and you want to be out. So it's like, okay, you want to be here, you don't. So it's just a weird situation. And I kind of feel like she, in some weird way, that she did love Diddy in a weird type of way, but she also didn't, if that makes sense. Um, I'm just trying to make sure that I saw it the way that I was seeing it, because even in that courtroom, if remember her testifying, she basically went and didn't fully go in and fully give the court too much information, like as far as going way in on him like that. Remember, her husband walked out. Um, yeah, it is a lot going on with this trial. It is. Um,
But no, Chris, I totally agree. I don't know. I just feel like it's a weird time of in the world right now.
mhm.
So we really don't know what to expect. Like we used to be up like he's guilty, he's good, they're gonna
Right.
throw him. I just don't see it necessarily playing out like we would anticipate. It's gonna be like a cliffhanger. Something's gonna,
Mhm.
like they're gonna throw something out there.
I can see that too. I mean,
The people look at the minds of the people who got Trump in office.
that part.
I mean, we got we got to think about what.
Adult, adult, riddled.
Like, I
I,
mean,
I mean,
And then here's the thing that's really been pissing me off about that too. Jake Tapper is going around, peddling this book about Biden and his mental deterioration and the people who were covering it up. We are literally sitting through the same exact thing and nobody is saying anything. So like this is like the selective outrage is so like humorous to me.
it really is. It really is. It really, really is. The select, and that's the part that really irritates me. I'm like, okay, when Biden was in office, we talked a lot about his decline, or health and stuff like that. We got the Orange Man in here, and I mean, it's been some crazy stuff that this dude has been doing and saying, but nobody touches on it. Nobody says anything. It's like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So I do agree with what you're saying there, Jeremy. I really do. Um, but as this trial goes on, more and more, we'll continue touching on it. We just want to give you guys an update on what's been going on with it, and things like that. Stevie said, "What about the Tangerine Man with the tiny hands and his health decline? Forget his feelings."
well, yeah, his health is declining, so I wonder if that's gonna play a factor when that's more noticeable when everybody starts to see that playing out when he's talking.
He said,
And then you want to do this expose, the video of
"Right,
him stumbling to get in that garage truck. Lives, yeah, exactly. And then y'all want to, the selective outrage is what just drives me crazy. This man is clearly like something is wrong with his mental capacity.
Hmm.
And where's the expose on that?
that's what I've
When
been wondering."
somebody own mama said, "Don't let him get into politics because he's crazy."
Yep, his
His,
mama
no,
showed him, said that.
his mama said, "Do not let him get into politics. I love my son, but don't." When somebody own mama don't warn you about them and you don't listen. Trust me, I know how women mama warn you and you don't listen, how it can all go to hell. Because that's how I got through my first marriage. His mama said, "Don't marry him." And my dumb ass went along with it.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
this. You know, that right there is a mess by itself. When the mama says that, so that's like a warning, a red flag you should heed. I mean, um, yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. But we're gonna move on to our next topic, and we'll touch more on Diddy's trial next week, as the trial continues, the ongoing trial and whatnot. We're gonna touch on, how did this get in here? This was not supposed to be in here. Hold on. I don't know how that got in here. Um, hmm. All right, so we're gonna we're gonna move into. I don't know how this. Some of this stuff is, my computer's doing some weird stuff, but we're gonna go ahead and move into the big topic here. I know Summer, you've been waiting to get in this
Honey,
one.
a mess, okay? Have y'all been seeing the pictures they've been trying to pass around for Clarissa when she was 15 and she had that short haircut?
Mm.
I was like, child, bury it, Jesus.
No, I didn't see that.
It was a burying moment. But she said she proud of her picture.
So she
Very
proud.
proud.
So she's proud of a picture where she look a mess.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. She sure did. But that's okay. You might as well own it. It's still you. And she don't look that much different. All she got now is a bunch of good wigs and stuff. So take them off. What Pap sees is that picture at night when she take that hat off. So I mean, it is what it is. But I want to specifically say that Pap was saying that he done wrote all of Remy's rhymes.
Mm,
What y'all think about that? You think he really wrote her music?
that's interesting. Now that's interesting.
You know,
I'm
I'm
not.
curious.
I'm not sure when it comes down to that because, you know, I don't. I think for me, I don't want to sit here and say that when it comes down to somebody writing their music, because a lot of people have a lot of input on music, especially when it was Whitney Houston, when she didn't write her own either. So I feel like he probably had some influence on writing the music. I wouldn't take it away from him. Honestly, wouldn't take it away from him. Jeremy, you the music person around here. What are your thoughts on that question?
This honestly breaks my heart if I'm being honest. I love Remy and I love Papoose. I love Clarissa. Clarissa is from my home, not from my hometown, but she about 40 minutes away from Detroit. You
Hmm.
know, right up the street. And I just hate to see a emblem of black love, a couple that we were rooting for. But to be quite honest, I feel like very often our community was trying to tear them apart, was trying to find some flaw within her and within their marriage and connection when she went to prison. And it broke my heart to see how our community sometimes engages with people who are doing well. And I just often wonder, had we supported them more, would it have looked different? Because I mean, as a black queer person, I was just telling somebody about this. We don't have any examples of, unless you know somebody personally, but like any broad examples of like, this is what black gay love looks like, or this is what this looks like. And I often think that black people in general have very few examples of what that healthiness looks like
Hmm.
and in a relationship. And even if it looks different than what you expect, uh, we're carving these new paths out and we're doing it without example. It's kind of like building a tent with no instructions. And it's just frustrating to see how the lack of support can sometimes aid in destruction. It breaks my heart.
I can agree with you on that, and I had seen some crazy videos because I know they had did a live. I know you've seen that live somewhere. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
but they had did a live, and it was a mess. Like the back and forth and some of the name calling that she had said that she had called him and things like that. I was like, yo, like this is intense. Like,
What she called Clarissa Clarence, that was a good one.
I was like, Remy,
Now I giggle.
your fucking phone off now. Power off.
Yeah. And then I honestly think they are both super talented. I listen to Remy all the time. I I love Papoose. I think he's incredibly talented. I just think that this time the trolls got what they wanted. And they get to go back and say, we knew it was, we knew this wasn't good. Like, it's just heartbreaking to witness happen in real time. And then let me tell you something about this too. I don't care what goes on. I'm never going to go online and bash the person that I was with for years.
right.
Not me, because it just makes everybody involved look stupid. It make everybody involved look stupid, and I don't care. Ain't no amount of holding me down. I would just be quiet. Be quiet and take your L in silence because it make everybody just look stupid. You were sitting up here with that man when he was broke and doing all this stuff. So why do you want to expose it now? Why you want to expose Remy for doing this now? Like it make both of y'all look nuts.
Yeah.
Stop.
And then also there's three sides to every story. His side, her side, and then the truth.
Yep.
So I feel like none of us is ever going to be able to have a for sure knowledge of what those two people went through in their marriage. What saddens me though is that Clarissa is on this. She's only 30. Um, she's on this. Um, every time she's interviewed or she has a question about something, she's addressing about her love for Papoose, and I really feel like she really is into him, which would be sweet if he wasn't a married man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like even with him going back and forth with Remy, like even if it's over for you, I don't give a fuck what somebody got to say about me and how much of a piece of shit woman I am. If I'm so in love with my new boo, I'm not about to make it seem like I'm not over this motherfucker
Right.
and embarrass the person that I claim to love. Like Clarissa is young and rich and talented. You know, she participated in two Olympic fights. You know, she only lost two fights in her history of boxing. I mean, she's super talented. Where I feel like is being overshadowed is her relationship with Papoose because she won't stop talking about this nigga. Like, stop talking about him and talk about the fight you got coming up. Which, by the way, on the 26th, she has a fight coming up. Now I don't know who she's fighting, but I know she got a fight coming up. And I'm not really into sports, so you know, don't blame me for not really being that well informed. But you know, I know that it was brought up, but she's not doing enough self promotion. She's talking about wanting to start a family with a man who let him finish out. Like even if I'm gonna give you a good example. Example when Carisha was with Diddy, and you know she'll let y'all see her out spending that man money. But did she come in there and talk about, oh, I'm so in love with Diddy, he's so amazing? No. And that's what I would have loved to see Clarissa be able to be like, yeah, I'm talking to whoever I'm talking to. He's supporting me. Let the video show it that whatever you posted of him, you know, spurring with you and all that type of shit. Let that speak for itself. But I would never address this grimy ass computer warriors generation of people. For real, because everybody got a whole lot of opinions on shit they don't know what the fuck they even talking about.
Well, the crazy thing
Like,
is,
yeah.
you have, so I was just talking about this on my own social media. The
Hmm.
amount of people who get up every day in their misery and want to like comment on other people's life, it is disturbing.
It
I
is.
had some people who like created different profiles, like, you know, with 3 followers to come in and say mean things to me. It's like, think about how miserable that person has to be. I don't want to comment on my own on my own stuff. Like, the energy that it may take, it must take to like do those kind of things. It's insane. And I wish those kind of people healing, because there's some people so invested in this relationship and the destruction of it that it's disturbing.
It's so true. And I think like at this stage of a breakup, especially when you've been with somebody over 20 years, I'm gonna need the dust to settle before I can know with all confidence that you're not gonna go and try to work that out. And me personally, anybody who has a young kid and they've been together as long as Remy and Pap have been together, I would just want to see that. I would want to see some type of resolution without whoever she talking to and with whoever he's talking to, kind of like praying for their downfall so that they can be with them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I want to see this relationship be resolved off camera, off the internet, and let them kind of like just decide what they, you know, what got them to this point, and then perhaps some counseling could help. Ain't no way you love somebody for 8 years you ain't see their ass but on visitation every 6 weeks. While they was locked up and you just toss their ass to the side. I just don't see it. I don't see it being that easily done.
Yeah, I don't see that being that easy either. I mean, that history is there, especially with that amount of time and things of that nature. So I don't see that either like that. So to me, that's just insanity.
But in the words of Nene, keep your legs closed to married people.
Look, I totally agree with you on that. I don't mess with married people like that. So for her in this situation, she should have waited. Like how you said, Summer, she should have waited until a divorce or something is final. You don't sit here and continuously keep going after somebody like that.
I honestly think a better slogan would be stop trying to marry people who are already married.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean,
There you
yeah,
go.
similar thought process. But
yeah, I mean, but that, what you said, Summer, is, I mean, that's the age old adage. Like, keep your legs closed to marry people. Stop trying to be with people who already are in such soul ties already. They already together. And I don't care what nobody says. Okay, so if y'all not working out, then divorce her.
Right.
it's easy.
Then,
He just
then,
filed
di-
for
and
divorce
after you get done
May
divorcing
twenty
her, if
second.
you still want to talk to me, then come find me then.
Exactly. And if I'm still ready, available, and interested, I'll talk to you. I just feel like he didn't file for the divorce until Remy started posting the her videos. And I feel like he didn't want to be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'll just put it publicly out. It's adding fuel to the flame. It's sad because I feel like there's gonna be casualties of war and it's gonna be these other people.
Yep.
Oh God.
There's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be definitely tons of that. And it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that this is where we are. um and I just wish that I wish that we didn't have this issue like this, because these are three amazing people and in their own rights, and basically over one person. you know that's just insanity to me.
Yeah.
I I don't know. That is just insanity. I'm sorry.
Believe that Clarissa feels like Pap wants her and wants to be with her. And if you've ever been like in a new relationship where somebody is like, I always seen Pap as a super supportive person. So of course, once he started kicking it with you and he cheering you on, he's showing up to everything you got going on. Um, he going to practices with you. He's like really an involved person, and we saw that with his relationship with Remy. I think I just don't want to see her get her heart broken publicly. Like, let that be your bedroom business. But when
Right.
till everything is, I mean, it could very well turn out that they could end up together. We would never know. But I just feel like right now it's putting her in a position to look stupid, and that alone pisses me off. Because if you cared about me, you'll be like, honey, let's take a beat. Let me go ahead and dissolve this so that can't nobody say shit when it comes to me and your relationship about me still being tied to another person.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I know this is still an ongoing situation, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. The divorce only been filed for 1 week.
This gonna be a mess. This whole divorce is gonna be a mess. Like when they finally do go to divorce court, um, it's gonna be a whole shit show.
Not only that, but reminisce their daughter together. The internet don't go away. Now she got to see. I just remember like when my parents would go back and forth. I hated to hear any negative commentary on either one of my parents. So I feel like she got to go to school with people who are gonna know about this. She got like put your child first and get your ass off the internet bashing. Like I don't care if he telling a lie or not. He got to answer to what he say, and she got to answer to what she say. Get that
Right.
positivity by saying I'm not gonna bash this person. Um, I'm gonna let the judge handle it, and we're gonna work it from there.
I totally agree with you on that. But as time goes on, and as we'll be covering this as well. because this is such an interesting story. So we'll be continuously covering this story, and I know Summer, you definitely gonna make sure we stay up to date on it as well.
That's it.
So we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is Salt and Pepper lawsuit. They filed a lawsuit against UMG over music right dispute. Um, so I want to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of the backstory, I guess, on this whole situation, because it's very interesting, especially in the time that they're looking at of doing this. Because you guys guys heard anything about this as well before we jump into it?
Yes, I heard something, and I totally agree with what some of the people were saying. The way that Salt and Pepper treated Spinderella, this is like, I mean, if you can look at the progression of their career, th- this is an indication of how you treat people can come back to reflect on you. Like they treated Spinderella like she wasn't a part of the group, and she very much was. She was their DJ, and every little element that added to your success. It would be different if somebody if she booked them every now and again. She DJed for them for years without any of the success that they had. She was the pretty much the ampersand in the Salt and Pepper. She was the end, Spinderella, and they treated her so poorly. And now look at how this has come back. Um, and again, I try not to side with people who are going through something negative because we all have things negative that we go through that aren't our faults. But it's just like I wonder what Spinderella has to say about this. I would love to hear her perspective.
Definitely.
Mm.
They had got that Hollywood star, and they was kind of acting like it was their star and not her star. And it took me growing up because I'm an '80s baby, so growing up listening to Salt and Pepper, Cinderella was always there. So I never knew that she wasn't a part of their group until many years later. I was good and grown before I found out that they wasn't really considering her. They was like, it's Salt and Pepper and Spinderella. And I was like, what? She was a third? Not a part of y'all. I felt like the group itself was the three of them.
What's up with some of these female groups? It's even male groups too. Like, what is up with
It's just being successful in its own right is very overwhelming, and then sharing that success just complicates it. When you have a group like Escape or Salt and Pepper or In Vogue is going through their trials, even Boys to Man,
Mhm.
Destiny's Child, it's just like people complicate things. Even when you're successful, like Mariah Carey, that alone is its own burden. And then having to bear that burden with other, shoulder that burden with other people can be frustrating. So I can't even imagine, like, you're wildly successful with this group of people. You have to share the money and the spoils, and then like you don't like these people after a while because friendships have, some friendships do have expiration dates.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I want to give you guys a little bit of the insight on this. The so of course they went and filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group after the label pulled most of their songs from streaming platforms the week before last. Um, so, according to newly filed court docs, Cheryl, Salt, James, and Sandra Peppa Denton are suing UMG for refusing to honor their right to reclaim ownership of their masters. Section 203 of the U.S. Copyright Act gives artists the power to terminate copyright transfers after 35 years, and the rap duo says they served notice back in 2022. So that's pretty much the gist of everything like that. What's going on, my sister? What's going on? What's going on, Vanessa?
Hey, hey.
Yes, sir.
um, but yeah, so that kind of gives you know like basically the as I like to call it the meat and potatoes of the situation, which is crazy that they were served in 2022 um, in this situation. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that they were going through that, you know. So I don't know. It's really sad because they're such an iconic group. Um, I don't see how it would hurt them to bring Cinderella into the fold. Like, just she should be a member. Like, she, if it wasn't for her up there spinning, how you know the crowd would have vibed with you the exact same way? You know, like, it's every little component is integral to how you are received. So I just hope it works out. That's one of my favorite childhood groups. So I hate to see them go through this.
Because they're accusing the label of a can he speak today? They are accusing the label of conversion, a legal term of jacking someone's property without permission. For those that didn't know what that meant, they are asking the court to give them basically relief, monetary damages, and a permanent injunction to keep UMG from interfering with their rights.
I think
Okay, girl.
I mean, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but um I think that's why it's important when you go into what's the good thing about we're in 2025, there are so many ways that you don't have to have a label.
Hmm.
You can really
Exactly.
get your start if you market yourself enough on social media and things like that. You don't really need, I think the age of recording labels and stuff like that, is gonna change tremendously than how it was before. Because Blame It on the Rain, that group, Milli Vanilli, there you go. Um, they took somebody else's music,
Mm.
another group's music, and we all know they were lip singing the music, but it was not even their song. It didn't belong to them. And because
Mm.
they had the proper backing through a label who was willing to, the label actually presented the song to them and had hired some people to sing it on their behalf, but it was a total existing group's music, but they were not big enough for anybody to know the song. So Milli Vanilli blew the song up. But the good part about that is that later on that they were able to receive some sort of restitution or financial gain from that being used. And maybe that'll happen in Salt-N-Pepa's case too. I don't know, but it's just a crazy fucking world. Right.
I really do hope that I hope they beat this case. I really do. I hope they beat this case and be able to get their masters. What's going on, Reese? Well, hey, yeah. nah,
Hey,
nah, you,
Reese.
nah, you ain't miss us tonight. You missed us last week because we wasn't on last week. But yeah, you ain't miss us tonight, fam. You ain't miss us tonight. Um, but no, I really do. I hope they do get there. I hope they win this case, and I hope they do get their masters because I feel like with artists, I feel like they deserve to be able to be in control of their music. And this has been going on for quite some time with a lot of artists that have been trying to get their masters or get the rights to their masters. um, so it's just like it's an ongoing thing with these labels, and like you said, Summer, you don't even need a label anymore. This is a whole new day and time. Well, if y'all don't have any more to add to this, we're gonna move on to our next our next topic. So we're gonna move on to Georgia woman being kept um, Georgia woman being kept alive while brain dead to incubate her baby, which is such a terrible story. Um, such a terrible story. What's this? Reese said, "All of Hollywood needs a break. I'm tired."
Me
Thanks.
too. Can they just can they give us a 2 day break?
Right.
Right. We need a 3-day weekend on the ass.
I mean, I ain't
Yes.
gonna lie. Like we look, it's always something every week. Every week. But you know what though? That's what keep our show going. You know, we always find something to talk about. We always find something to talk about, which is crazy. Um, I mean, Hollywood gets no break, no break. But anyway, I want to touch on this real quick with this story. For those of you that don't know, so the fetus of a brain dead Georgia woman who is being kept alive to carry out her pregnancy is continuing to grow. Um, so you know, it has gained a lot of traction and things. A lot of people are really, you know, delving into this law, this Georgia abortion law that's in place, and it has definitely sparked a lot of questions and criticism about that law. And so here it is. It says the baby has toes, arms, limbs. Everything is forming. The woman's mother, April Newkirk, told the local news station 11 Alive. Um, Basically, they're saying that they hope the baby makes it. The Georgia woman, Adriana Smith, went to the hospital in February with what she thought was an intense headache. Um, which was first reported back then. At the time, Smith was about 8 weeks into her pregnancy. The hospital discharged Smith after providing her with medication. Um, the next day, Smith was rushed back to the hospital after she woke up gasping for air. The hospital diagnosed her with blood clots in her brain. Within hours, she was declared brain dead. Under Georgia law, abortion is banned after after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. The ban also contains provisions that strengthen the concept of fetal personhood, a doctrine that holds that embryo. Um, I'm sorry. Let me go. Let me cross back. So this part I didn't know about in this law. I didn't know about this part in this law. This is new to me. So basically, when so when you conceive, so Summer, please let you know because you're a woman and you know this a little bit. I didn't know that in this law there were provisions that strengthen the concept of fetal personhood.
Yeah. So basically, what they're saying is that after 6 weeks of pregnancy, when there is a detectable heartbeat for the baby
Mm,
and stuff like that, and you can see visuals of the baby, that person has the same rights as anybody else.
mm,
Same human rights as anybody else. So what I find really sad about this case is the fact that wait, I can't see what Reese said. Oh, this young lady is oh my god, a former classmate. Her family had started a GoFundMe because they keep getting bills. Right. Okay, so
wow.
for pointing that out, and I'm so sorry, that you get to see somebody you went to school with going through such a tragedy. But this is why this whole law is dumb. The person who is the carrier for the child, the home for the child, is has lost their rights
Hmm.
to gain rights of who is going to care for the fetus. You see what I'm saying? And she's brain dead. We really don't even know. I feel like personally that they're using this as some type of experiment to see if they can do this type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Like no one has said that they wanted to take the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like her family, I think that they're just assuming that the family wants the baby, and I'm gonna assume that too. But the fact that you won't let this lady die and she's dead, like once the brain is dead, they're keeping the rest of her alive with machines. Okay, so this
Hmm.
basically just telling a woman again, it's reinforcing that we don't have rights. We don't even have rights when we dead. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it benefits this country or the government to keep a baby alive inside of a dead woman. The shit just don't make no fucking sense. But it's basically saying, like, first of all, when she died, if the baby was not old enough to survive on its own being taken out of the mother that's dead, um, then I think that they should let the natural order of things happen. You know, like if they wanted to save the baby and it had its own separate rights, extract the baby from the mother and use your technology to try to keep it alive. So that
Exactly.
Mhm.
so number one, so that the family can grieve because they cannot like, and if that's going to be a law that they have to keep the baby alive, then the hospital or the government or the state of Georgia should take on the responsibility of the cost to keep this woman alive. Now the family is incurring more than just the debt of burying this woman. Now they paying uh, have you ever heard of a dead person racking up hospital bills?
That is crazy to me.
That's
Well, I think
ludicrous to
also
me.
they're not taking into the perspective of the child's life without its mother. So they're condemning this child to a life without a mother. They don't know what that's going to look like. So just like they don't ever get it. They don't ever get it until it happens to them. So you're keeping this woman alive so she can have a baby. Then what?
That's what I'm saying. We never heard anything about the father of the child. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who gonna automatically get ownership of the baby besides the hospital or the state. And then they're gonna turn around and use that baby for testing.
Yep.
Right.
Because um do you know the number one organ that is harvested? Does anybody know the answer to that?
You said number
Kidney?
one. You said number one organ at the what?
That is being harvested.
Mm-mm.
The heart.
No, I'll let you guess, Jeremy, before I tell you.
Kidney?
Nope,
The brain.
nope.
Damn.
Skin, our black skin.
Oh,
Our
I.
like you can look it up. What's crazy to me is they're letting it develop so that they can do with it what they want. She said, "I'm not gonna lie. As a nurse, my womanhood would have taken over, and I would have told the family, I don't see nothing if you pull that plug. Absolutely, I'm with
Right.
you. Ain't no way I'd have tripped over that motherfucking plug. Oh my god, I fell because this is just crazy to me. And then as like it's even with the whole, not to go back to Trump 100%, but that whole making America great again when women couldn't vote and stuff like that, we were considered a man's property.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have no rights for real. Like you had to be married in order to have somebody to speak on your behalf. If it wasn't your parents, it was your husband. Like your voice doesn't count. And I think that we're seeing that with these new laws, which I really hurt for because I have daughters and granddaughters. You know what I'm saying? Like some of this has to change. Like this is completely terrible. It's inhumane to um do the things that they're doing to this woman and not even letting her soul rest. They're keeping her shell alive because she doesn't have any brain function. So she
It's
has
awful.
no awareness of anything that's going on. Then you got to understand that the connection that the baby makes to the mother is because the mother is alive. They get used to hearing their mother's voice. Now that has gone silent, and then when the placenta, as the placenta is attached to everything and very sensitive to everything that's going on in the happening to the mother. So like if the mother is distressed all the time, then the baby is going to be distressed. So with the mother not being alive, I'm not even sure that we can say that the baby would come out healthy and normal. And
Right.
that's another thing that you're forcing other people to endure. Like if the baby is brain doesn't form properly or they can't speak or they can't, they don't have any mobility, that they're going to require 100 100% care all the time for the rest of their life. Now you're putting that on the family who didn't even get a chance to grieve that their child died or their family member died. To me, that's completely inhumane.
And I'm not gonna be honest with you. This story bothers me because this is probably just one of many. You know what I'm saying? With other women that are across the country with this terrible law, and it really breaks my heart for other women that this is what they have to endure. And if you notice, I don't really see that many pregnant women anymore like I used to. And I honestly really don't. And I've been noticing that a lot. So,
Well, they need their slaves. So
They
that's
do.
why the Republicans are constantly trying to say we need to increase, the pregnancies and things because somebody got to sell you your McDouble.
That's fact.
And somebody gotta, make your McDouble. And they see these birth rates dropping, they realize that their children are gonna be the ones selling the McDoubles. They got to force people to have children. I mean, because what's the other rationale behind it? Why would you want to force people who don't want children to have them? What
right.
what could be the motivation behind that?
This is why women are leaving America to have children. I can see that.
And then don't not to mention if you're a black woman, the mortality rate is insane. So you risking your life to bring another life into the world, and that life that you're bringing into the world is just gonna be put in this perpetual cycle of poverty. They did a study, they can tell like how when you were born, where you were born, like they can see the trajectory of your life. Like that's how science has become so, and of course there are variables that play a role, but for the most part it doesn't deviate. I think it's about 80% accurate.
Hmm.
They see where your life is going from where you were born.
Yep.
And that is very true. And that's another thing too. I think that's another reason why they're constantly trying to put these robots in certain jobs because they know, like what you just said, Summer, that the pregnancy rates are very low, and people are not bearing children anymore as much as they were. And at some point in time, they're gonna have to do away with this stupid law. Um, they're gonna have to do away with it because in order for a country to grow, it needs people. In order for a country to thrive, it needs people. So at some point in time, they got to do away with this law. This law is very, um, how can I put it? Is it's like very old timey type law. I can't think of the word I want to use for that. It was a very really good word I wanted to use for that, but I can't think of it right now.
It's
Um,
antiquated. It's old. It's definitely out of date. It's not
it's very
keeping up
much out of
with
date.
where we are in the world. And I think it's just ridiculous that, and I only think that it's gonna see men. I'm not to say anything negative about men, but men do not,
No.
they can't birth children or carry children. So your level of understanding what actually a woman goes through during bringing another life into the world, it's something that you couldn't fathom because you couldn't go through that. Like it's something you will never know. You could empathize with it. I mean, you could sympathize with it, but you couldn't empathize with it because it's something you would never experience yourself. You know,
Hmm.
and then for you to be like, of course, we couldn't make children without each other, but it's just that when you're the one who have to push it out of your body and keep it healthy, and when they're testing the baby, have you ever seen that amniotic tester needle? It's about this long,
Oh wow.
and they stick it in your stomach to extract amniotic fluid so that they can test if your baby is going to be healthy or if it's going to have any birth defects. The things that we endure just to bring a healthy life into the world, I don't think it's fathomable by men because um it's something they don't have to experience. So just with, I think the only way that we will even see any type of change with that is if we got like a woman president, or enough women that could help make the decision to overturn it.
Exactly. Exactly. Jeremy, you wanted to say something
I said what I had to say.
on it? I before we close it out with this topic, I don't know. My heart really goes out to women for this. It really does, because I have nieces, and and I think when the law first got put in place, it really bothered me, just because I do have nieces. Even if I didn't have nieces, it still would affect me, because no one should be able to have that much power over an individual. They really shouldn't, and we need young counsel. Yeah,
We
yeah,
do.
we do. So I just feel like that, no one should have that type of authority over individuals' personal life or whatever they do in their bedroom. I just feel like that's just ridiculous. So I don't know. I don't know. It just really, really, really bothers me. Um, Young, educated, Reset said.
Yeah.
Um, so my heart goes out to her. I hope that that something comes out of this, that she is being able to be taken off and being able to just be able to rest in peace, because at this point, isn't it some type of sign of torture to an individual that's already pretty much, I mean, you might as well say, I don't like to be call it that, but that's pretty much deceased, in a way.
Well, she don't have no brain function, so she ain't suffering because
Yeah,
she don't
that's true.
know what's going on.
That is true. That is true.
Who's suffering is the
The
family.
family, yeah.
Who I feel like they should be able to sue and get pain and suffering, because they absolutely are suffering.
Right.
You know, and then I believe. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen to the baby, so I just hate for that. But I'm gonna tell you, if it was me, them motherfucking hospital bills would be arriving at my door and entering my fucking garbage immediately, because I would not be paying them.
And that is definitely the truth. Like I said again, as time goes on, we'll let you guys know more about what's going on with this story. It's just very heartbreaking, and whatnot, and it's very deep and intense. So I just wish that these type of laws just should never be passed. Just shouldn't. We're gonna go into our quick open topic, whatever topic that you guys want to throw at me, because I didn't ever prepare one. So what's on you guys' mind? What do you guys want to talk about for this last topic?
Jeremy, you got some thoughts?
I don't. I got my heart out. I need to step away.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead, and we do appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I love you.
Love
So you got
you.
one?
See y'all soon.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just been so much different things going on. I really want to see us, really get out, because there's upcoming voting. Um,
Mhm.
I would like for us to get out and try to start voting for the houses of Senate and all of those things. In your community, check and see, who's running, and find out about them. And, just try to show up at the polls, not only just for the presidential election, because, I feel like as a society in this age, that young folks just feel like voting is played out. And it's not that I don't empathize with what they're trying to say, or what they mean by that. They've seen so much not work out for us, and us to care so much, and I don't think that they see it operates the same way. So I don't think that they have the same feelings about it as, like, we did when we were coming up in our, parents and grandparents and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think it's vital for them to like kind of understand the importance of showing up to make change. I don't know if you heard, but Target has lost so much money since
Yep.
we've been boycotting them. And I'm gonna just tell you, they saying they want to make Dollar General the next on their list. And baby, I'm gonna raise both hands and say, please shut them. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. I feel like with as much as what different businesses can do, shut Dollar Tree down. Not Dollar Tree. I'm sorry. Lord forgive me for
Dollar General.
yeah, Dollar General, not Dollar Tree. Keep Dollar Tree open, Lord. Let them keep their DEI so but no, Dollar General, you always see them in a poor or urban community. They do not want to pay employees, whoever the store manager is, because I used to be a store manager. They will overwork them and underpay them. You will always see the store manager in your local Dollar General. If you don't believe me, just go 2-3 times a week and see who's there.
Hmm.
And it's gonna be that store manager.
Yep.
And as much money they have, do you know that Dollar General makes more money than Walmart and Target combined?
I did not know that.
They are racking up off of low income neighborhoods and very rural areas where the grocery store is not like as close by, so they can get, because they sell food, they can go to the Dollar General and get a little outfit, get some housing supplies. It's kind of like a Walmart, just a very much smaller one, you
Right.
know because you can get your hair care, you can get but the black hair care section is about that big, so you know you ain't got a lot to choose from, but you can get things from out of there. um so you can get makeup, you can get all types of stuff out of there, but what they're doing is they are not giving back to the community, and they
Which is
rely on
understandable.
the community to keep them in business. And if you notice, every 3.5-4 miles you run into a Dollar General.
Yep.
Especially in the more suburban areas and stuff like that, you're gonna see Dollar General everywhere, and they're gonna be in the middle of the hood. You're gonna see one, just like you see a liquor store. You're gonna see a Dollar General right down the street.
That is true. It's like a
And
church, yeah, on every
yeah,
block.
what's disappointing about it is that they know that it's the community that makes them thrive. They can actually afford to pay people a living wage. They expect to pay their employees $10.50 per hour. 10,
Can't
50.
leave on that. Excuse
That
me.
can't nobody do nothing with that, and that's a whole bunch of teenage kids. And the teenage kids now can make that just keeping up with a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and that really brings me to a point when you're talking about the minimum wage here in Georgia, or just in any other Republican state, which is just unlivable. And for you to pay somebody $10 an hour, that's just, in this day and age, that's just not livable anymore. Back in the day, that was something. A lot of people, oh my God, you're making $10 an hour, between 10 and
Yeah,
$17
in
an hour.
the early 2000s,
Yeah,
$10
that
an hour
was
you was making pretty decent money.
yeah. But we're
But
not there anymore, and they need to raise that, especially if they're making more money than those stores that you had just said. Um, they can afford to really pay their people well, and for you to choose not to, and you basically, it's just like modern day slavery. That's pretty much what it is. You
it is,
you
because that's how they're gonna do it. Like the people that are gonna hire you, they're gonna make you work for less than, like, think about it. The store manager at Dollar General has to do so many jobs. They have to they have to unload 2 trucks a week
hmm
and stock. because they don't give you the hours to pay for hourly employees to give you that much help.
Right.
They only can work about 4 hours a shift. So that's not long when you think about you need somebody at the register. And a lot of times after them 4 hours, it's the store manager that's working hours by themselves.
Mm.
You know, and after you done unloaded the truck, you ready to go home. FedEx send they people home after 4 or 5 hours. UPS, all them. When you done unloaded the fucking truck, 4 hours, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. That's a long time. I mean, I look at it like this: pay your people. That's really where I want to go with that. Pay your people. You know.
Or give them some more hours. How you gonna get them 4 hours at $10.50 an hour? You ain't
That's
even people full time.
that's not no money. I'm just gonna be honest. That's not no money. That's not no money.
And then the
Period.
people who taking the job don't even have no ride. So now they gotta pay a Uber or a bus to even get to the Dollar General to even work.
There you go. Oh, still excuse me. I'm sorry. This has been a day. But no, I
Y'all,
was gonna say.
I just want to say this last thing. Y'all get ready to boycott again. And the way we boycotting is we write letters. We write letters to these Dollar General stores and corporate offices, and we are letting them know that we are going to take away our black dollars because we've seen with Target that taking them away matters. And I do want to say that a lot of our small black businesses that were in Target did take a hit, but there is an app called Maria. I think I'm pronouncing it right. It's Mirrey. That is an app that lets you know all the black owned businesses and what they sell. So we can start venturing out into purchasing, buying black with the black dollar. Let's go ahead and just start where we can investing in ourselves, because it's looking like the time is going to be near that we're going to have to sustain ourselves.
And that's true. I mean, at this point, I'm with the boycotts because it seemed like it definitely is working. Which, you know, we kept telling people if you do it right, it's going to be effective. And I'm really glad that it is being effective and that it is working the way that it's supposed to. So, big ups to us for taking Target down a notch and making them feel the pain that we've been feeling. So,
Time.
look, I'm ready for Dollar General. Go ahead. I don't even really shop there no way. So,
I don't either, but it's just like I probably will write me a couple of letters. So
yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. Well, I wanted to say this last little bit before we close out. Um, Again, to all of our viewers, we do appreciate you for tuning in each and every week. We do apologize that we didn't do a show last week. It just was a lot that was going on last week and then coming off of that holiday. So we do appreciate you tuning in and staying with us. Tune in every Tuesday at 7:30 on the Extraordinary Network on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you follow us also on Instagram, as well as following on the on Facebook as well. So share with your friends, share with your family, um, and we hope that you all have a great rest of your week. And make sure that you all stay extraordinary.
yeah,
Because we're living in some crazy times right now, and keep each other uplifted and encouraged.
absolutely.
Yeah. So again, catch us live next Thursday. I mean next Thursday. I'm so used to saying Thursday because we was doing our show before on Thursdays. But catch us again live next Tuesday at 7:30, and have a blessed rest of your week. And take care. God bless.
Take care.